Welcome to One on One, a series where we sit down with some of your favorite hospitality professionals. Today we are here with Aloki Batra, CEO of 5 hotels and resorts. Welcome, Aloki.
Thank you for having me. Or am I having you here?
You are having me, so thank you for having us.
You're welcome.
I want to start with asking you, how are you?
Very well, thank you. It's been a couple of good years post the initial shock of Corona, and our brand has really transformed and is now, I believe, one of the leaders in what we do in Dubai, and very pleased.
Who is Aloki Batra?
Aloki Batra is a person who likes to go out, loves his friends, loves fine dining, loves fun dining even more, has a family of 3 kids. I've been married and with my wife for the last 13 years. So managing to keep that all together is what makes Aloki Batra Aloki Batra.
Congratulations. Tell me, what kind of life experience that you've had has shaped the person that you are and the leader that you are today?
You know, I grew up in a middle class home, and I went to one of the best schools in India, and it taught me a lot. It taught me how to understand people with wealth. It taught me how they thought, and I also learned how they spent the money. And I've always wanted to get into a business which was at the receiving end of all that stupid cash. And so that was what drove me as a young kid. And I always wanted to be an entrepreneur or be in an entrepreneurial organization, which my good friend Kabir created and gave me a fantastic platform. So at a very young age, in order to sort of match up to my classmates, I would, I had to find sources of income because my parents didn't have enough to at least help me match up to them. So I used to throw parties and charge them for it. And and it sort of became very popular. And I realized, I didn't realize that that's finally going to be a career for me. But I did that at that time, and then realized that you can't really make so much money doing this, and it's not really a career anyone can talk about. So then went into more traditional, career pattern from consumer electronics, where I started off with Kabir's mom in India, and then I moved to Dubai with real estate, where we had with real estate together, and finally, I always had a dream of hotels, and he always had a dream, and we always talked about it as the Hollywood of real estate, which it is, and I guess, and if you look at most of the hotel groups from the Hiltons to the Marriotts, from JW Marriott to Continental, they all were real estate developers before they became into hoteliers, including Donald Trump. It's different now because now these are brands which have existed over time, run by professional managers. They don't look at it in a real estate perspective. But that was how we thought of the business, that this is the most glamorous way to do real estate.
I mean, what a story, from needing extra cash in school to CEO of 5 today. What does your day look like typically?
Well, I don't start early. I don't have morning meetings because I always, when we first started, and all the managers would meet in the morning, and I was like, that doesn't really make sense, because you're starting in the morning and you're leaving at 6 p.m., but your revenue starts at 3 p.m. and ends for us at 3 a.m. Sometimes 3 a.m. But if it's in-room dining, it's even later. So besides breakfast, which is already mostly sold with the room, you need to be there when the action is. So I like to start my day a little later. Around noon, I end a little later, but I'm more in touch with what's happening on the revenue front, and that helps me manage my team, and my team is also there when the customers are out there consuming, spending money, or or enjoying the facilities. So and I always say, Aloki competes with hoteliers in the day, with restaurateurs in the evening, and with nightclub operators at night or late night. So that's what my day looks like. I don't end up sleeping before 2 a.m.
And how does Aloki manage to compete with all these 3 different segments within hospitality under one brand?
It's by creating an ecosystem. If it's, for example, you need to create the hardware, and I mean, I know it's really far-fetched, but I'd like to draw an analogy with Apple, for example. Apple has the hardware, then they created the software to create the ecosystem which keeps you within the Apple universe. So for me, the 5 universe is, not only about having a good night's sleep or a nice bed in a nice room. It's about what does the guest do after they check in. You can't be in your room forever, and at least with Airbnb getting stronger and stronger every year, hotels are at risk of just being bed banks. And how do I compete with not only other hotels? How do I compete with the Airbnbs of the world? So obviously we started focusing on other offerings, on the entertainment piece, and of course when people check in, they go to other places. I remember in the early years of running this business, I would sit down like concierge. Where did people book today? Where did they go? Where did they go? What time did they come back? So just to understand. And then I decided that I really need to create enough. So we do activations. For example, you could come to a Chinese restaurant on any given day, and it's a lovely Chinese restaurant, fine dining. And then you could come on a certain day, like a Wednesday or a Saturday, and it transforms into a crazy brunch. And so you could actually go to the same venue twice, which normally you would never do, for 2 different experiences. And so we try to complement this so again, it's maximizing on the real estate, it's maximizing on the customer experience. And 5 today, I don't look at us as a hotel, I look at us as an entertainment platform with rooms.
An entertainment platform with rooms. I like that. You've been doing this a while. What keeps you excited about this industry?
Well, people, I love people. I love interacting with people. I love interacting with members of my team. Most of them are my friends. I have a few friends who I grew up with, and a few others who run the business with me. My guests, I love interacting with my guests. I love getting their feedback. And for me, the juice of life is social connections and people connections. And I take energy out of that. I take inspiration from that. And I always believe see people coming in, checking in, smiling, and checking out, not smiling as much, but pretty happy with their entire stay. I think not smiling as much because they're just sad to leave.
What has been the highlight of your career so far with 5?
Well, I think there's been many highlights, so to speak, but for me to be at a position where everything we dreamt of has come true, and beyond that. And I don't think there's a particular highlight. I mean, being a father, having your first child is a highlight, and running your first hotel is a highlight. But I think the highlight of my career is the fruition of my dreams, and that for me gives me the courage to dream on and believe nothing is impossible.
Now, obviously, nothing comes without challenges. So what would you say is some of the most challenging aspects of your job?
Growth is always challenging. How to keep us young, dynamic, agile, and grow the business. We are a people's business. We employ a lot of people. Our customer touch points are many, and so how do I keep the entrepreneurial zeal? How do I keep the quality? How do I keep the entertainment? How do I stay on trend? There are many challenges, but like I said, this isn't a business which you can, I don't believe, I know hotels do it now, but I don't think this is a process-driven business. No business where you have so many customer touch points, especially in luxury, can be a process-driven business. It's a business driven by passion. You put the processes in to make sure your customers are happy, and you have consistency, but you you have to have that bespokeness about your brand, and which is why we are very careful on where we put our flag. We own all the hotels we operate, so decision making is quick, and that's for now. That's what we're very happy doing.
That is actually a wonderful luxury to have. I wanted to ask you about your leadership style. How would you describe your leadership style?
Well, I'm been accused of being highly moody. I don't think that's so far from the truth, but I think I'm a collaborative person. I like to challenge people. I like to challenge my colleagues. I like to get the best out of them. I like to lead by inspiration from the front, by setting an example. For me, even though I like to come up with most of the ideas because I'm very passionate about ideation, nothing makes me happier than members of my team giving me good ideas. Nothing makes me happier.
I love that. I want to talk about Five Music now. Why was it important to have your own music as a hotel brand, and what kind of edge does this give you from the rest of the brands out there?
In the 80s, most of the brands I grew up with are hardly significant today. So, when you start building and things and a brand, and it goes beyond, you really get involved with it. It becomes a person for you, and when that happens, the only thing you can think of is what's going to happen beyond me. What's going to happen, 5 years from now? How will we be relevant? Is it going to be just the same entertainment piece? Is it going to be the hardware? How are we going to connect to our customers forever? And what I like about the music business or the music world is growing up in the 80s and 90s with tons of piracy and very little data on what's really happening, and or what Billboard told you, which was press on like music top 10 or top 20. You really didn't know. There was not even it was completely opaque. And as Spotify and Apple Music and other DSPs came, everything became data driven. Piracy is gone. Music actually is a business where which is very lucrative. And aside from the financial aspect, just to see the data of what people are listening to, what's on trend, all that is available today. So for me, connecting someone from Australia to Peru to Canada to South Africa, what brings them together? Not film, music. So music is the most universal cultural integrator there is. Does that really give me an understanding? Unless we really don't get into it, we don't invest our money, our time to really, we start a label and let's get it from the bottom up. Then we will understand what the trends are. Because when you put your money, when you put your time, when you focus on it as a separate vertical, that's when you really understand the next trend, and that's when you really get deep. Otherwise, it's just skimming the surface and trying to be cool, but not really understanding what the next trend is.
I think that's very true. I'm going to go ahead and assume that you yourself love music.
Yes.
What kind of music do you listen to?
Well, it changes a lot. It depends on the mood. It depends, if I'm at home having a whiskey, there's a different kind of music on. If I'm out in one of my clubs, I'll be listening to something else. So, dance music is nice. Otherwise it's pretty good. Mostly vocal music. I like that. I used to love poetry as a kid, so I think that's a natural extension to that. The beauty of music is, I don't believe that there is a genre. This is my favorite genre. No genre. I think it depends on the mood.
I wanted to find out from you. I know that you recently ventured into international waters as well with Zurich.
Correct.
How is that location doing?
Well, we've had a very promising start. We opened in July. We closed our year at 70% occupancy. We've just opened another wing connected by a private tunnel from the main building, which is another 62 more rooms. So I believe, are the largest or second largest hotel in Zurich currently. Great feedback. We are the top weekend spot for Zurichers, which was something which which we set out to achieve, and that's happened. It gives us a lovely understanding of the European market and operating in the European market, and there's more good news to come.
That must feel pretty good, because I know the hospitality space in the UAE specifically, there is a very big ambition for more homegrown brands to go international, and you have done it. You must feel really proud of your team and yourself for doing that.
Well, yeah, first I have to thank Kabir to go and really get in and make the investments and do the research, and and of course having that privilege, it's great. And for example, 68% of our customers have come from Europe, so then 5, 6, 7% from America. So we get customers from all over the world. So we're selling today an international entertainment experience. So we believe our brand can be housed anywhere.
Let's talk about another location that's coming, 5 Lux JBR. I have seen the renderings. It looks absolutely insane. I cannot wait to see it in real life. What can we expect from this new location?
One of those things, it's like in Miami, and people in South Beach don't go outside South Beach, and people in Miami don't go to South Beach. So I think JBR is one of those locations which is so self-sustaining, and it has such a dynamic vibe and environment that we're so happy to open there. And when we opened in the Palm, I was a lot more apprehensive because the competition is tremendous. I don't see much competition for us there. I think we're ready to be the dominant hotel on that beach, in that community, and with our offerings which we have planned, all of which are homegrown, besides Leo, which we franchise, because I don't believe I could ever create something like that. It's so fabulous. We're very excited, very excited.
What can people look forward to from 5 for the rest of this year and the future?
This hotel never sleeps. So, it depends what mood you're in, but whatever mood you're in, we're here to cater you.
And for you, Aloki, what is your next great adventure?
Well, for me, it's obviously now to scale up, to take this brand and internationalize it, to really come through on the entertainment platform, especially if we break through the music business. That could help us a lot. We've just invested a lot of money in a music studio, which I believe is the best east of London. So yeah, we made the best investment there. We've had most of the music artists, they like to stay at 5 anyway. So so aside from the label, we built the music studio because they were like, sometimes at 2:30 in the morning they get inspired and they just want to go to the studio and they can't find anything which is of a certain quality which they expect, and especially in a city like Dubai, which is so modern. For no one to have created a state-of-the-art music studio is a little surprising. So I just don't understand why no one did it. So I'm like, I have to do it. It's.
What do you think of these things? Like, do you just find the gap when you hear and have conversations with people?
Yes, I think at the end of the day, I said I was a people's person. You learn more from people and their experiences than you can learn from a textbook. So you have to be open to hearing them. I'm not a great listener, though, I must say that. But yes, I try my best, and just being alert, keeping your eyes open, and listening to your customers.
And I suppose it also helps being agile and having such an agile business model as well. You can make decisions pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's the culture which has been created. I have to thank Kabir again. I've only worked with him all my life, so when people come from other companies and they say this to me, I'm like, oh really? That's how we've always been. So that's nice. I do know that we have a very low rate of attrition. Most of the people who work closely with me have been working closely with me for a long time. So it makes me happy. I'm not great at attrition though. I'm not great at close people leaving me. So I think they know that most. So I don't know whether it's the fear of that or they really like working with me. I'm not sure, but yeah.
Okay, Aloki, we're going to do something really fun now.
Sure.
So I'm going to ask you a couple of this or that questions, and then you're going to tell me the first thing that comes to mind, instinctively. Day or night?
Night.
Salty or spicy?
Spicy.
Red or white?
Red.
Passenger or driver?
Driver.
Vacation or staycation?
Vacation.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time, Aloki. This was so much fun.
Thank you.